my dudes and dudettes, to ranking every single savage boss in the game. We might break some hearts, we might step on some hearts, but my word is final. As you can see, I included every single boss. I did omit a few, like savage fights. What is it? Alexander 2, I think? Yeah, the one where it's just like a fuck ton of ads. Like there's no boss there. So I figured that it's best to just only do the ones that actually have bosses in them. You guys might notice that there are 2 ADS bosses here. I put 2 ADS bosses here so I could make this joke. 2 balls and between it is a snake. As you can see, the tiers are Waifu Husbando, which shall be tipping top of the cream of the crop. How you doing is you're pretty pog. I'd tap that, but we may not marry them. Passable and or would head pat is they're okay, or, you know, you just want to give them a pat on the head. I would literally die if we dance to the bed is, yeah, things that would literally kill us if we tried to tap that. And put it in the trash is something that's so poopy that it just goes straight into the rubbish. We will start with turn 1. It's like a mini boss at the start as ADS. It's a ball. It's a big glowing ball. I think it's safe to say we would head pat. We pat glowing balls. You guys have any glowing balls? Give them a good old pat. Also T1 was Caduceus. I personally would head pat. I like snakes. Back in the day though, he would head pat you to death. But you know, he's a good boy. T2 is the same as this ball, so I think it's only fair we keep the 2 balls and the snake together. T5 is Twin Britannia, like I like to call her. Her name is actually Twintania. I think it's another head pat. I don't know if it's whether I'm wearing nostalgia goggles or not. I feel like Twintania gets a nice good little head pat. Okay, next up, T5, Rafflesia. Rafflesia is a plant. I don't think we do anything with the plants. I mean, it has tentacles technically, and it devours you. And I'm not into vor. I'm into a lot of things, chat, but I'm not into vor. So I would literally die. Okay, next up, Melusine. She is a solid, how you doing? She is a Lamia. We love Lamias. We love snake tails. They can constrict you, keep you cozy at night. She's got a gaze that is so mesmerizing that it literally turns you to stone. Next up, T8. This is the Avatar. It's like a mech with big hands. I would literally die. I don't think he's trash, but there is no safe way to mount that. Next up, we have T9, aka Nail. Nail Daedanas, I think? I don't know about you guys, but she is going straight up to the top. She destroyed my butt and my static spots and many static spots, but she hot, so we say thank you, ma'am. I'll be here next week for some more punishments. Next up, T10. T10 is like a electric puppy. I had a lot of not fun with this fight, so I'm sorry. He'll be our first. Put it in the trash. Okay, next up, I think his name was Kalia. It's like a 3-headed mech. I would say we head pats, because that is 3 different heads to pat, right? You pat one head and it's like, oh, no more. I can't be petted anymore, please. Let me just pat this one. Oh, you don't want it too? Oh, let me pat this one. Oh, you don't want it? Oh, the middle one's ready for pats again? And it's like an endless cycle of head pats. Okay, next up, Phoenix. The original Phoenix from Coil, T12? I don't know. I was never a fan of Phoenix. Even knowing its lore and stuff. I don't know, birds don't really do that much for me. I like little chubby birds like owls and kookaburras. They're like big birds. It's just a big chicken. I don't think it's trash. I think we put it there. I'm not sure about the next one. We have Mr. King himself, Bahamut Prime. It's something about like things that look like dragons. I can't do it. Even if it's like a humanoid dragon. So I'm sorry, but Mr. Bahamut will stay at head pats. Okay, next up. Can't remember his name. I think it was the Oppressor. That is Alexander 1. Trash. This thing is trash. I'm not sorry for it. I did not enjoy that boss fight. Living Liquids! This is the boss that bent over a lot of statics. He was actually known as the Static Breaker. So I would say, just because of notoriety, I think he's a solid how you doing. I don't really know logistics of it because he's made of liquid. I've never thought about how that would happen. But he does have the jiggliest butt in the game. Next up, we have, what the frick was this thing's name? I'm sorry. It goes in the trash too. It was just smacking a striking dummy, smacking ads, and exchanging debuffs. The fight. Meh. Meh. Fun fact, this guy's name is Twinkle Dinks. I think he gets a head pats. I'm not really a huge fan of the goblins in this game, but he's like a mad scientist, you know? We gotta give props to people who are thinking outside the box, right? A6, he is the dude that was on a little mech. I think his design is kind of like okay. It's not as good as Twinkle Dinky's, but I don't really think I like him that much, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm a dog person. Brute Justice. I don't think Brute Justice needs any speculation. I think Brute Justice goes straight up to the top. I'm not into robots, really. I like more monstrous type of waifus and husbandos, but it's Brute Justice. You know, he'd look pretty cute in a maid apron, I think. I think he'd be a pretty good husband. I do not recall this dude's name. I think it was like the something or something. The something or something? I think that's a pretty clear I would die. I think if that thing wanted to bang, we would actually die. I don't think it's trash. I think it's just, please, God, no. Do not. Oh, God. I'm going to be turned into a trash compactor. Okay, next up is yet another fucking goblin. What is his name? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think he's trash. I guess we would die with him. He's very spiky, and he does ride a giant train. Okay, some of you maybe have been waiting for this. Next up, we have Cruise Chaser. Mr. Forward and Back himself. I feel like, would he be a husbando, or how you doing? On one hand, I'm like, Mr. Forward and Back, he can go forward and back, but he's also just a airship, right? I guess we'll do how you doing. I think he's really cool, but I don't think he's as cool as Brute Justice, you know? We have, drumroll please, Daddy Alexander next. He has a fancy skirt, and he has fancy wings. Things not necessarily I actively look for in a partner. But he is, you know, the creator, and he has some really cool like dialogue lines. So I think he's a husbando. Okay, next up we are heading into Omega. As much shit as I give Stormblood, Stormblood did give us Omega tier, so Omega tier was pretty good because it's mostly just, you know, references to older Final Fantasies. First up we have Alt-Righty. I remember people would write, you know, like how are you doing today? And then you'd reply, I'm doing, and then the auto translate for alty-righty. Get it? Like, I'm doing alrighty? I'm doing alrighty. But he is the noodle. We give noodles boop snoots. So, after Mr. Snack here, we had Big Eyeball. This thing, Jesus fucking Christ. I enjoyed this fight. It was a little finicky back in the day, like kind of getting your head wrapped around going up and down and stuff. And if you don't do it, you know, the way he wants, he turns you rock hard. People might be like, wow, rock hard? What a promise. But that face, man, that eyeball, like, holy crap, I don't think that, no. That goes to the trash. I'm sorry. If people are attracted to this, if you are, well, you might need counseling. Well, after Catastrophe, we have Helicarnassus. As you can see in the image, she has very steppy high heels. And she sits on a throne. That's pretty fucking hot. I think Helicarnassus is a waifu. Next up, we have Omega 4, aka X-Death. I think X-Death, like original X-Death, is pretty cool. But I don't think he's a husbando. I think, you know, you'd have fun with him for a night, right? You could, like, polish his pauldrons. But I don't think I'd marry him. If he's only how you doing, then Neo X-Death. I think Neo X-Death is one of the best, like, husbando designs in the game. I think he goes right to the front. It's kind of like a big fleshy mound for most of it, which is kind of icky. But man, is that a good looking fleshy mound. This next one I think is pretty clean cut. It's a train. It's literally a train. I do not think it's trash, but you would literally die if you tried to sleep with a train. Don't do that. This is my official disclaimer. Please do not try to put your pee-pee inside a train or try to put a train inside of you. You will die. You will literally die. No! Next up, we have Chowdernook / the Demon at Chowdernook. In terms of design, I think he's kind of boring. He's just like a bald dude in a robe, but he has some tentacles, like roots that are like tentacles. I think that is possible. Demon at Chowdernook comes with the Goddess Chowdernook. I think I would tap that. I don't think I'd waifu it because, you know, she doesn't really do much. She's just being possessed by a demon. I think she's cute, you know. I would whisk her off her feet. After Chowdernook, we have, I think his name was the Onslaughter? Was that his name? I think we would literally die. He's not humanoid enough for me to like justify tapping a robot. He's not cute either, so I don't think I'd head pat him. Yeah, we would die. I don't think he's trash. So, after him is one that I know a few people have been waiting for. Normal Kefka. I think he is pretty clean cut. How you doing? Especially like the more recent models of him. Kefka is a character. I think he's a great character, but he's never been like a husbando for me. But damn, he is a snack. I mean, I don't think you would get anywhere with him. He'd probably be like, oh yeah, why don't you go lay on the bed? And then you go lay on the bed and it's like, got a hole in it and you fall to your death. And he's like, haha, pranked. And you're like, I'm dead. I can't reply to your prank, lol. Got Kefka though. I'm not very sure where he would go. On one hand, he's like Kefka, but he's like, his skin is like weirdly tight. And it's like very veiny. And it's kind of scary. But he's also wearing a very small, robe around his legs, so you can see like full thigh action. I don't know, I don't think he's better than normal Kefka. I think he's passable to me. After Kefka though is Chaos himself. Sadly, Chaos gets a little flack now. Like, I haven't played the Stranger of Paradise game, but I've heard that, you know, there's a lot of memes with it because of, you know, Chaos. Sure, it's like a meme, but like, my homie Chaos doesn't deserve that. Chaos goes straight to the top. He's tall, he's got multiple arms, he's swole, he has thick thighs, he has big horns, so if you guys like horny people, he's very horny for you. After is Midgardsormr. He's a dragon. Like, Midgardsormr has an awesome voice, and he's like, you know, like, daddy of the dragons. But he's a dragon. Like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Number 1 Omega, 011 Omega. He is adorable. He gets head pats. He's like a little beetle spider. Ooh, pat, 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 pat. He's a good boy. After good beetle Omega is Omega male and female. I think this is pretty obvious. How you doing? I think both Omega male and female, they're snacks. Like a bisexual / pansexual's wet dream. The canonical end to Omega is that Omega male and female are like the final Omega, but in the Savage version, there is actually final Omega. He has a design that very much confuses me. He's like got a really creepy face, but he's got multiple arms. Like, I think that we would die if we danced in the bed, but I think we're feeling adventurous. And I think I would try that. I'm pretty sure I would die in the process, but it's a dying that I'd be okay with. After that, we are heading into Eden. First up, we have Eden Prime. I think Eden, like this Eden as a fight, is trash. And me and my homies, I do not think enjoyed the rotating beams. I think it was fine once you figured out how to handle that mechanic, but fuck that mechanic, man. After Eden Prime is, what was this? Was it Voidwalker, I think its name was? Well, I don't think I'd bang Voidwalker. I mean, well, if we're thinking about actual Voidwalker, like the actual person and not the mounts, I would say head pats. Because that character, I'm pretty sure is not legal. After Voidwalker, though, is your homeboy, Leviathan. But this time with 2 heads. Once again, he is like a sea snake. What we've established so far with Caduceus and Ultirati is that snakes get boops. So Leviathan, I think, gets a little boop on both of the little snoots. After the cute little water serpent, we have Titan. He's a husbando. You know, he's got strong thighs, strong arms. He is definitely husbando. The Titan marks the end of the first tier of Eden. That means we're at the start of the second tier, and that is Daddy Ramu. Ramu, I'm not sure about, right? Because one hand, his top half is like top tier, old dude, husbando. Like, he looks like he should be in Castlevania. But the bottom half is a horse. I don't know about you guys, but centaurs and horse type characters do nothing for me. I just think of that story about Mr. Hands from like 2010 or something. You know, there's a guy that was part of... I think we'll skip the how you doing tier. I think Ramu's charm lies in him as a cool character and him looking badass. So I figure I'd rather marry him than bang him. Straight after Ramu, we have Tag Team Battle. I was debating whether I should put these two together in one icon, like I did with Omega Male and Female. But I figure that Omega Male and Female, they're still just Omega, right? It's only Omega, he just split into 2 forms. The Garuda and Ifrit for this, they are like 2 different deities that are just smacking you together. This Ifrit, I think, how you doing? I mean, he's made of fire, you probably would regret it. But I think he has a really cool design, and when he's, you know, doing his attacks, like he's kicking attacks, my brain thinks, ooh, you could cave my head in with that. That's normal, right? You cannot have this Ifrit without Garuda. I think this Garuda is just side by side with him. I think the original Garuda looks much cooler and has better thighs and better booba. But this Garuda, you know, she's still pretty, but she didn't really change that much. She just got like a fur collar. For those who've done the fight, you know that they Kamehameha Fusion Ha, and they turn into Tapaska Pasta. I think he is definitely Husbando. Once again, he'd probably burn alive and be cut to shreds in his wind, but worth it? I think so. After that, we have the Idol of Darkness, which is definitely a fight. It's like a glowy rock, and they attack you with birds. I do not have much interest in that type of thing, so I'm sorry. It goes in the trash. Okay, the final boss of that tier is Shiva / Reen. I know some people think that her design is top, like, peak, but she's a daughter to. She gets head pats, that's it. Like, every time she does the face transition and she turns into the dragon version, I have to avert my eyes. I feel like going, young lady, why are you leaving the house in that? Next, Cloud of Darkness. This is like normal form Cloud of Darkness. It's Cloud of Darkness. Like, she is a queen. You do not put the queen any lower than waifu. She could step all over me any day. After Cloud of Darkness, though, is everyone's favorite dog. It's a dog. I'm not going to do anything with the dog. So, head pat. After the dog, though, is Fate Breaker, aka, what was his name? Ranjit and Thancred fused together. Honestly, I think he might be Husbando. Once again, he is like several of these other bosses. He wrecked many, many booty holes. So I think he earns, you know, the elevated position. After him, though, we head into the final fight of Eden. And that is, firstly, Eden's Promise, I think its name was. Overall, I think the design is kind of like okay for this boss. I don't think it's like super attractive when they get very large. I think that's like, oh, exciting. So I think I would tap that. After phase 1, though, naturally you get phase 2, because that is how math works, guys. I know, shocking that I know, you know, my maths that well. Phase 2, design-wise, I think is really cool. It's really cool, like kind of like dark fantasy design, but it's Gaia. Gaia is a daughter to. If it was older version of Gaia, that might be a how you doing, but I'm pretty damn sure that face is the younger Gaia, so she gets to be head patted. After her, we are actually heading into the current tier. Pandæmonium starts with good old Eric. In terms of the character, I think he deserves head pats, but I think this version of him, like, he plays with whips and chains. Like, I think that's solid. How you doing? After him, though, is Hippocampus, aka a horse that has been drowned. I don't think I head pat that. I don't think he's trash, but I don't think I'd head pat him. No. But after Hippocampus, we have the Phoenix. It's like this Phoenix, but you say it with an Australian accent because it's written differently. I think I can speak on behalf of like everyone who's done this tier. I think it's pretty obvious where he belongs. In terms of design, he's like kind of cool looking, like 3 heads and stuff. But pair that with the color palette in his boss room, and you pair that with all the attack colors, and it's like, Jesus Christ, my eyes, please no. After the Phoenix, we have Hesperios, aka #1 La Habrea simp. I think in terms of design, he looks very cool. Like, it's really nice how he's like a big reference to like Castlevania and that. But I don't think I would marry him. I think I would tap that. But phase 2 him. Phase 2 him is actually a reskin of. He's actually a reskin of this Garuda. But because of that, he has really good booba and thick thighs, because they didn't really change his silhouette much from the Garuda. Because of that reason, I think that actually, I think he goes top tier. And his fight, I think, is the most fun one from this tier. So I think he deserves to go up there, because at least in this form, you know, he's just talking about his play. He's like, oh, be in my play, act 1, act 2, oh, finale, wow. He's not like, La Habrea, notice me, senpai. But I think this might be our final tier list. I don't think there's anything we need to change. I think that is the final list. So, ta-da! Thank you guys for tuning in, or for watching. Hope I didn't break too many hearts or end too many friendships. That is my official ranking of every Savage raid boss in the game.